Thanks for joining me again. This week, I was pleased to sign into law Expedited Bill 3125, a landlord-tenant relations bill dealing with notification requirements for evictions. This bill was sponsored by Councilmember Kristen Mink, and it will give those facing eviction more time to respond and provide our outreach teams with advance notice to help those facing homelessness. We've seen the end of the pandemic dramatically impact how many families face homelessness every year. We've gone from 254 completed evictions in 2020 to more than 1,300 last year. That's an average of 380 families monthly. Facing the loss of their home, this isn't just a problem for the families impacted, but for our system as well. This new law would require the landlords and property managers to alert tenants and our Department of Housing and Community Affairs about evictions 14 days before they're executed, instead of the current 6-day notice, which only goes to the tenants and doesn't go to the county. This is going to help families and our homeless prevention partners to develop solutions over a longer period of time. Our shelters are already full, so the most effective way to help people is to help them find new housing while people are still housed and before they are forced out of their homes. Between 2023 and 2025, Montgomery County has seen a 33% increase in homelessness, while there have been 25% statewide increase. This includes a 26% increase in non-disabled people and a 23% increase in adults over 65 experiencing homelessness in our county. These numbers are alarming, and this policy is intended to curb those increasing rates of evictions. Evictions are tough enough to families who often lose irreplaceable family possessions simply because there's not enough time to protect them. I think you've all seen these piles of furniture outside of an apartment. They're out there in the rain, they're out there in the snow, and sometimes people go through that furniture or clothing when the families aren't there to protect it. So people lose more than their housing. They can lose everything they value. Having only 6 days to find a new place to live on little to no money and take into account schools, transportation, jobs, and other logistics, someone evicted has to take care of all of this, especially if they have a family. I believe it's essential to treat every person with dignity and recognize that stable housing is the foundation for everything, from employment to education to a healthy community. We don't want to see more people in shelters or children forced into a new school suddenly. This bill is another step in helping those facing eviction from losing their homes, or at the very least, giving them more time to prepare and find another home. For more information about evictions and understanding your rights, please visit montgomerycountymd.gov/DHCA and search for evictions. This week, I joined Councilmember Kate Stewart and our Department of Environmental Protection to remind the public about a new law that takes effect on January 1st. The Bring Your Own Bag law builds on what we've already done as a county to reduce the use of one-time plastic bags. Up to now, we encourage the public to bring their own bags or pay to get a plastic bag from the store. That option is now going away. Plastic bags will not be offered at store checkouts, except in municipalities that have not adopted or have their own plastic bag law. The price of a paper bag will increase from 5 cents to 10 cents. 5 cents of the new fee will be retained by the retailer, and the remaining 5 cents will go toward the water quality protection charge, which is managed by the Department of Environmental Protection. This fund helps pay for litter cleanup costs. Some exemptions to the plastic carryout bag in the Bring Your Own tax bag bill law include plastic bags provided by a pharmacist that contain a prescription drug, plastic bags used to bulk package items, including fruit, vegetables, nuts, grains, candy, ice, or small hardware items, plastic bags that contain hanging garments or dry clean clothing, including suits, jackets, or dresses, and plastic bags that contain or wrap perishable items, including meat, fish, unwrapped prepared foods, or bakery goods. I want to thank DEP for extensive outreach to the county retailers and residents by distributing over 25,000 reusable bags at benefits, offices, food pantries, libraries, and public events, meeting with more than 2,000 businesses in person to discuss the new bag law, providing signage for public display to businesses in 7 languages with the new law update, and running advertisements in 4 languages throughout the county. I've long been a supporter of phasing out single-use plastics. It's a crucial step in reducing litter and achieving our climate action plan of achieving zero waste. We are working to modernize the waste management process and exploring new methods for recycling the waste that we receive. Single-use plastics are a burden on the system. They contribute to blight and pollute our waterways. By stopping the use of single-use plastic bags at most stores, we're reducing waste and protecting our environment. I encourage everyone to bring reusable bags when they shop. This simple step can make a big difference. For more information, please visit montgomerycountymd.gov/bag. In other environmental-related news this week, notice of violation was issued by the Maryland Department of Environment to ReWorld, the operator of the county's waste-energy facility in Dickerson. Testing revealed in November showed that one of the boilers exceeded state permit limits for dioxins and furans, which are highly toxic pollutants that pose serious health risks. These results came from routine stack testing conducted in September and showed emissions well above what was allowed under Maryland law. ReWorld has since identified a tear in the baghouse system that is supposed to capture pollutants before they're released into the air. Repairs have been made and additional testing is underway. We're requesting detailed information from ReWorld and Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority. Federal regulators are also bringing in third-party experts to assess the health risks. We are committed to being transparent with the community about the issue and will continue to share information with the public as it becomes available. But the larger issue here isn't just a single tear or a single boiler. It's that this is an aging facility that relies on outdated technology which can threaten public health and the environment. For decades, the incinerator has been one of the county's largest pollution sources. It contradicts our climate action plan and hinders efforts in waste reduction, reuse, composting, and recycling. The unequal impact of air pollution raises concerns about environmental justice. We are currently reviewing an RFP for responses for a temporary waste hauling as we modernize the Dickerson facility and adopt better waste management methods. The notice of violation is a reminder that continuing to rely on a facility is not a long-term solution. We need to be honest about the risks, the costs, and the direction we want to go as a county. Protecting public health and meeting our climate commitments means planning a responsible transition away from incineration and toward cleaner, safer alternatives. If you'd like to read the full statement from DEP about this issue, please visit montgomerycountymd.gov/news and look for statements. This week, the new president and CEO of Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, Jared Smith, joined me for the weekly media briefing. Jared's taken over MCEDC after being the Director of Economic Development and Tourism for the city of Henderson in Nevada, part of the Las Vegas metropolitan statistical area, serving more than 2 million residents. Previously, as the Chief Operating Officer at the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, he was part of a team that generated $17.2 billion in economic impact over 6 years, the highest results in the organization's history. Over the past decade, he helped facilitate Nevada's shift from a tourism-based economy. His handling of Las Vegas's tourism decline during the pandemic reflects our current challenges with the loss of federal workers. He has an impressive background and track record. We're fortunate to have his experience and talents working for our economy at this crucial time. Jared and his team at MCEDC is focused on bolstering our life sciences, technology, cybersecurity, and hospitality industries. While retaining and attracting large businesses and employers is crucial, it is also important to help grow the companies of tomorrow. Some of those are going to be small companies. Just this week, MCEDC announced awards totaling $7.5 million to local businesses that applied for the Technology Innovation and Founders Funds grants. There are 55 early-stage companies that will utilize this money to support their business growth through activities that help them advance their technologies toward the marketplace. These awards reflect the kind of economy we're building in Montgomery County. We want small companies from diverse industries with strong ideas to have a genuine opportunity to grow here. And that means investing early, supporting commercialization, and removing barriers that often hold people back. I appreciate the partnership with the county, the council, and MCEDC and our Department of Finance in launching this program to help dozens of companies, not only in biotech and medtech, but also in other sectors, we are growing in the county, including space communications, AI, and clean energy. Investing in our business community is good for entrepreneurs, good for our workforce, good for the long-term strength of our local economy. To read more about MCEDC's efforts and outreach, please visit thinkmoco.com. This past weekend, the Montgomery County Police Department had extra patrols out at Hanukkah ceremonies in response to the horrific violence and terrorist attack we saw in Australia. Even a country with some of the most restrictive gun laws in the world is not immune to a terrorist attack. This one targeted Jewish people on the first night of a holy and joyous celebration, Hanukkah. It's hard to imagine how this wouldn't upset, horrify, and disturb every community. Our thoughts and condolences with all those impacted. Acts of anti-Semitism, especially those meant to intimidate families and communities during moments of gathering and celebration, must be called out clearly and condemned without hesitation. I've heard directly from members of the Montgomery County Jewish community who are shaken by the violence and concerned that the violence could be repeated elsewhere, including here. I want to tell them that they should know that their safety is a priority, and our vigilance will continue, especially for these sacred moments with family and loved ones. Montgomery County stands firmly against anti-Semitism, hate, and political violence in all forms. We'll continue to work closely with faith leaders, community organizations, and law enforcement to ensure people can gather, worship, and celebrate without fear. Policing and public safety have seen the benefits of using drones over the past 2 years in Montgomery County. Now our Department of Permitting Services, or DPS, is integrating drone technology into its operations. DPS drones are used for compliance documentation, monitoring construction, and enhancing staff training. They allow inspections to quickly and safely survey difficult areas like steep slopes and stormwater systems. This reduces site inspection times from 3 to 4 days to 2 to 3 hours. Improving customer service and speeding up the permitting process, data and footage obtained by the drones can also be utilized by our DPS staff to enhance their performance. The drones will be operated by FAA certified pilots who are aware they are not permitted to fly over private properties. I'm looking forward to seeing how the drones improve the efficiency and effectiveness of our permitting process. I want to thank and appreciate DPS's willingness to embrace new technologies and methods to improve performance. The latest episode of DPS podcast focuses on the launch of the drone program. You can find a link to the Department of Permitting Services podcast on montgomerycountymd.gov/DPS. Montgomery County ranked number 2 in the nation for top places to live for older adults. AARP ranked us among the best places for seniors to live in the nation. Our county fell into the very large community category and competed with some of the biggest cities. We ranked second on the list, only behind San Francisco, but ahead of Fairfax County and Washington, D.C., which placed 5th and 14th respectively. AARP ranked jurisdictions in several categories, including providing safe and walkable areas with access to shops, groceries, and restaurants. Survey also looked at the quality of healthcare, physical activity opportunities, and the health of the environment. Accolades like this help confirm what we already know about Montgomery County. We're a great place to live, work, and play. We strive to give everyone here the same opportunities, and that's the idea behind the Age-Friendly Montgomery program, which is now in its 10th year. Many of our departments, like the Libraries, Recreation, and Department of Health and Human Services, rely on the program to ensure that we are meeting the needs of our community. That's important as we see more residents living longer. We take pride in giving older adults the opportunity to age in place and thrive. Our Montgomery Gives Local campaign continues. We started this initiative last month to address the growing demands and needs of our local nonprofits. We as a county government have consistently invested to help our community in times of need, including $200 million for our local nonprofits, $62 million for services to end and prevent homelessness, and more than $23 million in food assistance. However, nonprofits also rely heavily on support from local residents, which is why it's important to ask everyone to please help them out and to consider giving locally and to support our local organizations. Last week, our office hosted the annual holiday luncheon, during which the county executive's office staff made donations to local nonprofit organizations. This year, we selected the Four Seasons Giving Tree charity. At the luncheon, I had the pleasure of learning from Lauren Lemon, the founder and CEO, about the origins of this charity. It started when a parent noticed that a teacher was meeting her students' needs at her own expense. As a former teacher, I'm aware of the profound impact such assistance can have on a child's life. Providing essential support to families in need significantly enhances children's opportunities for success in both school and in life. We extend our gratitude to Four Seasons Giving Tree and all the partners who contribute to supporting this grassroots organization. This model has been a potential to be replicated in schools throughout Montgomery, and I believe Lauren's story demonstrates the compassion our county residents and nonprofit organizations have for our neighbors most in need. For more information about giving or volunteering for the organization, please visit fourseasongivingtree.org. For more information about how you can get involved in or to find out organizations to support financially or volunteer with, please visit montgomerycountymd.gov/volunteer center. I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays. It's been one of the longest and toughest years this county's been through. I'm proud of how my team has faced the moment and how we pushed on undaunted in our commitment to serving our community in the best way possible. Over the next 2 weeks, I'll be reviewing some of the stories and events that stood out over the past year. Some of those impacts have been positive, others not at all. I look forward to sharing my thoughts on these milestones. Most of our county offices will close on Christmas Day, which is Thursday. Ride-On will operate on a limited bus schedule. Libraries, rec centers, and senior centers and indoor pools will close early on Christmas Eve and remain closed until Friday. You can expect the same kind of reduced hours the following week around New Year's Day. You can visit montgomerycountymd.gov/news to review all of these changes. That's it for now. I hope you have a safe holiday and a fun holiday, and I'll be back again soon. Take care.